Okay, so today we're going to be talking about perimeter security, but we're also going to cover a couple things on host-based security. So securing a network and its individual device requires a combination of perimeter security and host-based security measures. Each type of security addresses different layers of the system's defenses, utilizing various technologies to detect, prevent, and respond to attacks. So we're going to be going over some of those core technologies involved in perimeter and host-based security and how they work and the security functions they provide. But first, you need to make sure you have your OpenSense router set up and good to go. Then you need to make sure that you have your Windows Server 2022 set up as a domain controller. You start up your PFSense router or your OpenSense router, and then you start up your Server 2022. That way, whenever you log into your workstation for Windows 11, you can still access it using your Active Directory account. Once you've done that, and once we're done securing our OpenSense and our Windows systems, we're going to be starting up and securing our Ubuntu workstation and our CentOS workstation. So let's kick it off with our perimeter security technologies. Perimeter security focuses on safeguarding the boundaries of a network, acting as the first line of defense against external attackers. It controls what traffic is allowed in or out of an organization's network and monitors the network perimeter for suspicious activity. We have our firewalls. So a firewall is a security device, hardware or software, hardware being our OpenSense or PFSense routers, that monitors and filters network traffic based on predetermined security policies. But how do firewalls work? So firewalls work through packet filtering, stateful inspections, and web filtering, as well as other ways as well. So packet filtering inspects each packet of the data entering or leaving the network, comparing them against a list of authorized rules. Packets that don't match the criteria are blocked. With stateful inspection, that technique examines the state of connections and can dynamically filter traffic based on the current condition of network sessions, so tracking the state of the TCP connection. With web filtering, this is an advanced firewall method, where advanced firewalls such as those embedded in OpenSense or PFSense can block communications to specific websites and URL filtering. Firewalls can block unauthorized traffic both inbound and outbound to stop potential attackers and prevent data exfiltration. Cyber attacks like DDoS or intrusions are some of those. They help enforce compliance by controlling which websites employees can access, so workplace policy enforcement. Firewalls also control access to known vulnerable services by blocking insecure ports like HTTP on port 80 or Telnet on port 23. We have our intrusion detection and prevention systems, otherwise known as IDS and IPS. IDS, IPS are technologies that monitor network traffic and detect or prevent malicious activity. Intrusion detection systems monitor network traffic for suspicious activity or known attack patterns. It raises alerts when anomalies are detected, but it doesn't actively block the traffic. Intrusion prevention systems similar to the IDS, but takes it a step further by actively blocking or mitigating the threats detected, dropping malicious packets, and resetting connections. Some other tools you can use are Cicada, which is a NIDS, Network Intrusion Detection System. It's an open source engine capable of acting as both IDS and IPS. Cicada monitors packet streams on a network for signatures of malicious activity, so port scans, botnets, or suspicious downloads. Intrusion systems add an extra monitoring layer beyond just filtering the traffic, detecting stealthy attacks staged by malware or exploit kits. IDS and IPS also provide detailed visibility into what's happening across networks in real time, logging attacks, attack attempts, and identifying persistent threats. VPNs are virtual private networks, and they're encrypted tunnels used to secure communications between remote users, devices, and networks. VPNs create encrypted tunnels between remote users and the corporate network over public internet, ensuring secure transmission of sensitive data in transit. Technologies like IPsec, SSL, TLS, and WireGuard establish a VPN connection. VPNs secure communications from eavesdropping, preventing the interception of sensitive information, such as passwords and business plans. With secure tunnels, remote employees are granted authorized and encrypted access to internal resources, even while working on public untrusted networks. Perimeter-based web filtering involves filtering traffic to prevent access to malicious or inappropriate websites. It works by using DNS filtering or IP domain block lists to disallow communications with specific websites, such as ones harboring malicious software or phishing threats or adult material. Blocking potentially harmful websites reduces the attack surface by stopping malicious traffic, preventing users from inadvertently contacting phishing sites. Host-based security focuses on securing individual devices or servers. It involves protection of a machine's operating system, applications, and data, even if the network perimeter fails. You have your host-based firewalls, which are software programs that filter traffic entering and leaving a specific machine. Like network firewalls, they block or allow traffic based on rules you define. However, these firewalls focus on protecting individual machines, such as your Windows 11 workstation. Operating systems like Windows firewalls or IP tables on Linux use IP filtering and rule definitions to regulate traffic in and out of the host machine. Windows Firewall is integrated into the Windows OS. It acts as a defensive barrier, allowing you to open or close specific ports such as your remote desktop protocol and port 33829. IP tables on Linux is a powerful Linux firewall that allows the system administrator to write and enforce rules to regulate traffic, blocking SSH brute force attempts on port 22. It protects individual endpoints like servers and laptops from unauthorized access. This is especially important for devices outside the traditional corporate LAN, such as remote workers or mobile devices. Host intrusion detection systems, or HIDs, are designed to monitor an individual host for suspicious unauthorized changes. It works by monitoring file integrity, system logs, and user activity on a specific host, and alerts administrators when something unusual is detected, such as unknown file hashes, privilege escalation, or rootkit activity. Wazuh, the HIDs portion of it, it's an open source HIDs tool that monitors individual hosts for suspicious behavior at the file system or kernel level. Wazuh agents installed on a host send event logs, alerts, and audit data to centralized Wazuh managers. HIDs provides protection from rootkits, malware, and insider threats that may bypass perimeter defenses like network firewalls. It helps identify
compromised machines before they can be used for deeper network penetration. We have our endpoint detection and response, or EDR. EDR solutions collect and analyze vast amounts of data on endpoints, your hosts, to quickly detect advanced threats, including those that may bypass traditional security controls. EDR employs behavioral analysis to detect unusual patterns of activities, such as lateral movement, privilege escalation, or compromises across endpoints. EDR systems can proactively isolate infected hosts, preventing the spread of malware across the network. EDR provides detailed forensics capabilities to aid incident response and quickly mitigate attacks such as ransomware, zero-day exploits, and fileless malware. We also have our host-based anti-malware and antivirus, which is software that detects, prevents, and removes malicious software from individual hosts. AV programs can scan a host file system, memory, and network connection for signatures or behaviors that match known malware like viruses, worms, trojans, or rootkits. Tools like Windows Defender and ClamAV provide real-time protection by monitoring machines for suspicious processes, preventing the execution of compromised files. This provides defense against common threats like adware, spyware, and trojans that may compromise valuable systems or disclose sensitive data. Another thing you really got to look at are your access controls and encryption. So host-based access controls and encryption policies are critical for protecting data on the individual machine, so your data at rest. Encryption tools such as BitLocker for Windows and Lux for Linux are full disk encryption technologies that ensure that even if a device is physically stolen, attackers cannot access the data without the decryption keys. For your access controls, identity and access management, IAM, and resilient authentication methods like MFA, multi-factor authentication, ensure that only authorized users and devices can access sensitive information or data. Encryption defends critical data from physical breaches, your data theft. Access control mechanisms enforce least privilege access, limiting attackers' ability to move laterally across systems. Some of your key differences are related to the scope of protection. So perimeter security protects the network boundary or edge and focuses on keeping threats outside the network. Your host-based security protects individual machines and servers, reducing the impact of external and internal attacks. Your focus with perimeter, it mainly focuses on the data traveling in and out of the network, so your endpoints and internet. Your host deals with securing what's inside the machine itself, including applications and system processes. So, first thing first, you got to log into your OpenSense. And then we're actually going to have to download a couple things to get it going. So we've got to install Squid. Again, if you missed it, it's under your system packages, system firmware's packages, and then you go to plugins, you search for Squid, and then you add it. So you might have to update before you can install the plugin. So we're going to run our update, and then once the update's done, we're actually going to install Squid. Okay, after you're done uploading it, should be good to go. And we're back in. So now we actually have to install Squid. So let's head back to our firmware. Plugins. Search for Squid. Word. The handsome sort. And then we'll try that install. Okay, once it's installed, just go verify. Yep, looks like she's installed. Services. Might have to do a refresh. Go back to our services. Squid Web Proxy. And then our administration. We are going to want to start it. Looks like it's up and running. Perfect. Okay, then we're going to go to our remote access control list. We're going to click the good old plus button here. Now, we can actually just point to either a file or a URL. So as you can see here, we've added one, but we're going to add another one. So you're going to paste in the URL. In our case, we're going to block some games. And then we're going to save, download ACLs, and apply. Once it's done downloading, we're going to have to restart the service. We also got to handle our authentication settings here. So we're going to forward proxy authentication settings, and we're going to verify that it's clear all for everything, and then apply. Now let's go back to our general settings here. Make sure enabled proxy is selected. Everything else should be good there. Okay, that should be good to go. The next thing we got to do is go to our firewall. Rules. Land. And we're going to add a new rule. So action should be block. Interface should be LAN. Protocol should be UDP and TCP. Destination port range. Should be HTTP to HTTP. There we go. And we can name whatever we want. Block proxy bypass. Block proxy bypass. Click our save. Add. Block. TCP UDP. port range should be HTTPS. There we go. Block proxy bypass. Block HTTPS bypass. And save. And apply changes. There are a few other ways you can also do your block lists. You can do it through Unbound DNS by setting up a block list here. You can also create your firewall rules. And I'm going to want you guys to block port 80 or anything else insecure left unsecured, such as Telnet. Then we're going to move over to our host-based firewall. Here, I'm just going to get you to search firewall. And there's one more thing I want you to look up for firewall. And I just want you to double check that the firewall is actually turned on or off through this section as well. As you can see here, domain profile is active, Windows Defender firewall is on, inbound connections that do not match the rule are blocked, outbound connections that do not match the rule are allowed. Windows Defender firewall is on private, public, and domain. So now we're going to create an inbound rule. Under our inbound rule, we want to go new rule. We're going to want to block port. We're going to go TCP port 80 and create our rule. Block the connection on all networks. Block port 80 inbound. And then click finish. I want you to do something similar on Windows Server as well. It's done pretty much the exact same way. So now what we want to do is we want to use IP tables on Ubuntu 22.04 or 24.04. So we're going to shut down our Windows and start up our Ubuntu. Okay, so the first thing I want to do here is I want to make sure that we have a version of IP tables installed. So let's give this a shot. Looks like we do. So let's go sudo IP tables A output O eth0 P TCP D port 80 J drop. Let's give that a shot. And there we go. So that has set up a rule for IP tables. The next thing I want to show you, but we're not actually going to do it, is sudo IP tables A input S and then an IP address. So if we actually want to block access to our router for some reason, it's just that simple. So now if you wanted to actually check to see what some of the rules are, we can go IP tables, L, lines, or line numbers. Just make sure you're sudo or EP. And there we go. Okay, so we're gonna play with a few more things here. Let's do sudo apt update, just because we want to make sure we're up to date. Once we're done doing that, we're going to install Suricata. So it's sudo apt install Suricata. Yes. This may take a bit, so I'm just going to let it do its thing. Now we want to cd so I just want to make sure temp existed. cd tmp, perfect, clear. We're going to have to download some rules here. So let's use the curl command to download them. Perfect. And of course, Ubuntu is going to be like, yo, we want to install updates. We'll let that do its thing. The next thing we got to do is we got to actually extract these rules. Perfect. Now we want to open up the YAML. There we go. And we got some stuff we got to modify here. Home network. We need it to, well, respect our home network. So this is where we're going to make some modifications, just right in here. Let's do 2.4 and 1.0, just to respect our home network. Perfect. Should be good there now. Let's start this bad boy up. Ooh. I clearly made a mistake here, so let's just go back. Let's try it this way. That's okay, so let's grab this bad boy here. And there we go. Alright, so once you're done setting up there and you're done generating network traffic, we're actually going to set up Wazuh. So I already gave you guys the OVA. You can grab the OVA from, well, pretty much anywhere online, or you can just install via ISO. We're going to do that right now. So if you guys do not have it already, download the Wazuh OVA, or you can install Wazuh on your Ubuntu server. I am personally going to download the OVA. Okay, so once it's done downloading, you're going to want to actually install them. Whoops. Virtual machine. We're not using VirtualBox here. So let's import appliance. We're going to be grabbing Wazuh. Next. We definitely will have to make some changes to it just to make sure everything's working correctly here. So let's just make sure it's using our host-only adapter. Everything else should be good here. So once it's done importing, we should be good to go. Okay, we should be good to start it up now. So once it's started up, we're going to remote into it from our actual from like Ubuntu or Windows, because we're going to have to install the agents on multiple systems anyways. Start it up, so looks like it started up, so let's open up Ubuntu again. So we're going to open up Firefox. We're actually going to go to 192.168 1.1 advanced, accept risk and continue. Go to our services, DHCP, leases, and let's see what is now visible on our network. One of the things that should be visible on the network is the new Wazuh server. And there it is. Advanced, accept risk and continue. Wazuh dashboard is not ready yet. So we'll give it a little bit. So if we go to the website, it will actually give us what the username password is. If you scroll down here, it does change from version to version. So let's go back to our Ubuntu. While we wait for that to load up, let's just open up Terminal. Perfect. So it takes some time to explore. Ultimately, what we want to do is we're going to want to install new agents. Agent summary. No agents discovered. Okay, so the next thing we gotta do is we actually want to install it. So we're gonna copy the GPG key. Let's go back to our Ubuntu workstation. Perfect. Next thing we want to do is we want to add the repository. Cool. I just wanted to make it a little bit easier on myself, so let's go sudo apt update. Apt install. Whoops. Whoops, we already did that, my bad. Repeating steps. Although it is saying it's not signed, let's try doing this again. Slightly concerned what's going on here. Sudo. Sudo apt update. Let's try that one again. Sudo nano. Okay, let's do this one next. See if we do get an error. This should be 192.168, 1.108. Figured that was what was going to happen there. Okay, so if you're having issues like I was having right there, totally fine. What we can try doing is deploying a new agent. Directly through here. So 192.168.1.108. We're gonna have to remember the server address, agent name. We're gonna call it Ubuntu workstation. We're not going to create a group right now, but we are going to copy that. Then let's go here. Let's clear. Instead of doing it the hard way, we'll do it the easy way and see if this does the trick. And then we're just gonna try again, sudo systemctl start Wazuh agent and see. Assuming all that worked, let's go check to see if we actually have an endpoint popping up here. Active Ubuntu workstation. We're going to do this on all of our workstations, so I want you to rinse and repeat. You can do it on the Windows, CentOS, and so on. Once you're done installing Wazuh, you should be ready for the rest of the exercise.